Good evening and welcome to Modern Spiritualists with Aeson Knight. I'm talking with Denise tonight. How are you, darling?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well. Have you been busy?
I have been pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for our audience, tell them a little bit about yourself, the ones that haven't ran across you on Keen or, bit one.
Sure. Well, my name is Desiree Murray. I am in Florida. Very hot today.
Oh,
um, but, but yeah, I'm in Florida, and you may see me on the hotlines under the Sacred Tribe. That's my username on there, and I I work from home, which is always
right.
nice. And yeah, I'm also I would consider like what I like to specialize in is of course love and relationships as well
Uh-huh.
as shadow work. So that's my specialties.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Um, shadow work is a lot of hot right now. How'd you get into it?
Well, I actually when my dad passed away, not to kind of
Perfectly,
go deep
because
into
that's
it.
how a lot of things open up.
Yes. It definitely it helped change my life, as far as the path that I was on. At that time, I struggled with alcohol, and through my grief, I actually found a grief coach that helped me,
Hmm.
um, and helped me with starting to paint. I also do paintings, just as a hobby. I paint
Hmm.
angels.
Ah,
Fun. And yeah, she's my grief coach was actually the one that started me on that painting, and then I started painting angels, and then it just kind of started progressing more
right.
after that because I had joined a group for daughters that had lost their fathers,
Hmm.
and in that group, that's where I found more about spirituality and readings and things like that, and that's what inspired me to pick up my own mediumship deck, and it just really started from all that, and it's been an amazing journey. That was almost 5-6 years ago now, so.
Wow. So you've been in the business for about 6 years. Very
Mhm.
cool. What I find interesting is I have a theory that, everybody that a psychic or medium has specific problems or qualities dealing with the physical body.
Mhm.
And, you mentioned that you had an alcohol problem there as you were what I call blooming and you getting into things.
Mhm.
it, it's very interesting to me that that's what opened up your gifts basically,
Mhm.
and I hear that so much out of mediums of they either cannot or it does them no good to drink anymore,
Yes.
and they have a natural tendency for it. So what's your life like there in Florida? Do you work with a group there, or are you doing more studies?
Oh yes, I'm not really with a specific group at this
Mhm.
time, but I am looking to expand my connections in the spiritual community, especially locally as well.
Yeah.
Um, but but yes, as far as for the spiritual community here, there is a large spiritual community. I just haven't explored it as much as I want to just yet.
Yeah, because the spiritual community, for those that aren't familiar, there is a spiritualist camp there in Florida, and there's a specific style of mediumship that goes down. They're more of the, you know, tell me what dad thinks. Well, this is what dad thinks. It's not the hunt and peck that you see out of the New Englanders. So, well, I've got
Mhm.
someone with a J name, John. Who's
Yeah,
got a John? That type of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's a specific flavor and meaning. Why'd you choose the name Sacred Tribes to read under?
Well, it kind of just came to me one day because when I first started, I felt such a sense of community, and
Mhm.
it just really drew me to a name like that, like the
Right.
tribe, my tribe. And it just kind of came to me in a random inspiration, honestly, after that, after connecting with other people I connected with spiritually. Mhm.
Hmm. I find that very interesting, because that's another thing I see brought up often. Um, is, the spiritual, using the name tribe or collecting with the name tribe, and find that that's kind of cool. Um, so, where can they read you at? First of all, which platforms are you on? You work the Keen platform in the Bitline, and you're over on Purple Ocean.
Yes, you can find me on Keen, Purple Ocean, and Bitwine. I'm actually on Keen quite a lot. You
Hmm.
can find me there, and Bitwine as well. Purple Ocean, I'm trying to go on that one even more. It's actually my first platform, was Purple Ocean, so
Uh-huh.
I definitely have a lot of love for them and appreciation. But yeah, you can, and if you don't see me online, of course, on the hotlines, just go ahead and, ping me or send me a message, of course, on there.
And you can always ping on uh, all the networks have the ping function now to let them
Hmm.
know that, hey, I'd like to get a reading. What's your decks? Which decks do you choose to gravitate to the most?
Yes. So I am a little bit old school. Honestly, during the day, I mostly use my Rider Waite Tarot and my Romance Angels. Those are my
That romance
biggest.
deck, tell me about it.
It's a really cute deck for those that mine looks a little beat up, but for those that haven't used it before, it has all these amazing little things, such as you can see if I would say what type of connection it is. It can even give you more information about that, as well as if it's a spiritual connection. There's just so many things you can do with the romance angels. So I
Mhm.
definitely like to have it as my go-to.
Right. And that's very comfortable, very understandable. I've not seen that. I've seen that deck in papers. I've not seen it well. Now you're saying that, well, it looks like it's a little used. It should be a little used. You've read for thousands of clients, honey. I mean, I don't know about you, but I basically have to replace my decks about every 6 weeks
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because
mine
this
is
stuff will say,
definitely quite a lot.
yeah.
If anything, I go through, decks, these two the most. I do use other decks as well.
Hmm.
If you like, I could show you them.
Sure, I'd love to. And I'd love
Okay.
to hear why you work with that deck.
Sure. Perfect. Let me go ahead. Grab these. So this is the Talking to Heaven deck. This was actually my first oracle that I got. And when
Hmm.
I was telling you guys about my dad passing away and I actually, in that group, I did readings for the other daughters that had lost their father with this.
Hmm.
So that's really what inspired me to, try and find Purple Ocean.
Right.
And this is a beautiful deck. It has such pretty images. I can show you some of them,
Hmm.
for example, such as just very like it's very supportive and
Hmm.
beautiful messages for healing for someone that wants to connect with a passed on loved one, basically.
Right. Yeah, and that's a very nice, comfortable deck. It
Mhm.
also has nice graphics. The messages are good. I'm sure it feeds, and this is what a lot of people sometimes don't get. What's a deck doing with mediumship? Mediumship. It
Mhm.
feeds the medium. It gives the
Yes.
medium better clues. Um,
Mhm.
okay, what else you got?
Um, I also have this is a guardian angel deck that I use as well. And
Hmm.
I'm sorry, the name is escaping me of what it's actually called. Uh,
Um, Flip the cards a couple more for me. That is, I believe, Duan Virtues
yes,
Archangels. There
yes,
we go.
that is it.
Yeah, that one's out of print. So, if you see
Yeah.
it on the shelf, grab it because you won't get it again.
Yes, exactly. I think a few of mine are some pretty old. The
Yeah.
ones that I haven't, replaced, of course. But I
Hmm.
keep certain ones separate for that reason. Like
Hmm.
I do have an original of the Romance Angels as
Yeah.
well. Um, but yeah, this is a beautiful deck. I recommend it for anyone that would like to, do little readings for yourself, or maybe
Right.
you just need an encouraging message for the day from your angels, and that's a beautiful deck to have. Mhm.
And that's a good thing about oracle decks is it allows people to do that. Just pull a card for the day.
Yes.
And learning and opening up and growing.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't think that they can do that, and it's actually very good for our clients. I prefer my clients,
Yes.
especially if they're wanting to grow spiritually, to do like a card pull a day or to take 5 minutes a day and just kind of pull themselves together. How do you recommend people begin working in shadow?
Begin work.
Working with shadow work.
Oh, well, I always recommend the easiest way to start the process is first, just making the decision that I'm going to try and learn how to do shadow work. That's the hardest part. I'm going to
Right.
start. Um, but then I recommend journaling. Um, I'm a big I'm sorry, I can't talk, but I'm a big advocate for journaling, um,
Mhm.
especially for healing, and that's something I do on the side. Well, I design journals, and I also like to make journals for myself for my own shadow work. Um, but yes, I recommend starting with journaling, and
Mhm.
I even have like writing prompts, that can help with that. Just writing out your about your past, about the
Right.
things you've been through is just such a huge thing for shadow work. But a lot of people can get overwhelmed, at times with how do I do shadow work? Well, it's really it's about just turning around and facing your shadows, and embracing them, So that's why I recommend writing as if that's something that they feel comfortable with, as a way to start. Hmm.
Okay. And what does that do for them?
Well, when you write out the things that you've been through, I find that it helps us look at it from a different perspective, first of all.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like it also helps us acknowledge what we've been through.
Hmm.
And I feel like that is a big part of it, because I'm personally I've been through a lot of traumatic events. So I do understand how hard it can be to, face those shadows that come up, and try and push them down rather than embrace them. Because a lot of times what happens is when we try and push them down, what happens? It just gets worse. It just, you know,
And
we
it
have
just
to.
drags and bites in there, and at the same time,
Mhm.
it creates what I call repetitive patterns. It's
Yes.
from a psychic perspective, it's like they're dating the same dude. It's like, oh, okay. 6 months later, yep, same dude, different
Mhm.
body, same energy, same behavioral, same relationship patterns. And it really stems back to what I think is that parent connection
Mhm. Oh,
of,
yes.
the type of friend then. All right, let's take a break and then we'll dig into that a little bit more because you actually have a blog up on Keen about starting and giving people some prompts. So we'll talk
Yes.
about that.
Sounds good. Mhm.
I found out that my husband had been cheating on me, and my whole world turned upside down.
I stressed over any and everything, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop.
I was attracted to a psychic advisor to get clarity.
I was like, there's no way that's real. But the things that were coming up felt so accurate.
I really need that unbiased, non-judgmental advice. If there's some part of your life that is not quite fitting in, you maybe want to try something that you haven't tried before.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
Right, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're right. So let's dig into some of these prompts you've put up here. And maybe you can kind of help expand on them a little bit. You recommend grabbing a notepad or a journal and answer any of these questions. What is the pain, fear, or trigger?
Hmm.
Now, is that over a specific situation?
Well, I like to use this with my clients, like where we were just talking about where things keep coming up, and it could be about something from their past, but certain things trigger that emotions to come up. So this is what I would say. You could use it, of course, for anything, but definitely events or things that you've been through that may be hard to try and heal. So that's what I would recommend. Mhm.
Very interesting. And then the next one that leads into that is, where did it first start?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what did the pattern create in your mind to protect yourself? Those are two that really tie together, don't you think?
Oh yes. Yes, I definitely feel like it's the core. You got to go to the root of the problem to be able to heal it.
Right.
So that's oftentimes that's what this exercise is trying to help them kind of take a look at a little bit from a different perspective, like, oh, okay, I do see why I do this certain thing. It's because of this that I've been through in the past. Hmm.
Right. And then it moves into working with, how did the protection, it says, how did this benefit you back then?
Hmm.
I'm assuming the protective behavior to do it.
Hmm. Correct.
Okay. And how is it affecting you now? And what thoughts through the pattern should you redirect? Those are two deep questions. I think that would be a couple pages of writing, especially if you see the same relationship triggers going on.
Hmm. Oh yes. I found with working on this with my clients, it's definitely you'll either have two things. One where they may still struggle, and to find the words, and then when they get to a certain point, it just comes out like either through writing or talking to me.
Hmm.
Um, that's usually usually it's the later one.
Yeah. And that's normally the one that is the harder one, is when you just keep seeing things repeat itself.
Mhm.
Um, what about your work with empaths?
I do actually do work with a lot of empathic people and a lot of my friends. I actually mentor a lot of them as far as for working on the hotlines even and working on keying and things like that. So I do offer that as well
Hmm.
through the hotlines. Hmm.
What is that work like for those that's not familiar with that word?
Well, it's a lot of shadowing. It's a lot of them coming to me when they need a pick me up. Honestly, a lot of times
Hmm.
they need that someone to believe in them,
Right.
and that is what I help them with. And then also just any challenges that they're going through, into what kind of image they want to bring to their clients as far
Hmm.
as when they're online, and what kind of controlling the I help with call control, not help, but I help with them as far as like call control and things like that. Because I
Hmm.
used to be a customer service manager, and
Uh-huh.
for hospitality on the phone. So I do use a lot of the different techniques as far as helping our clients the best of our ability in a short amount of time. So I do try and do that.
Right. And I think that's important, is we're not you. I think that's an important step. And I really think it's an important growth step too, is that, you had that experience of working in the call centers,
Hmm.
because it enables you to realize what can get done in a minute, what can happen quicker, what you need to really work through. But it teaches advisors, especially those coming into the industry, the fastness of that you need. Your clients don't have
Hmm.
3 days.
Yes.
Hello, Mana. How are you? You have to get in there and get focused, and it quickens that up
Mhm.
process. But with empaths, do you find that they pick up a lot of extra dirt? Like they'll pick up a lot of triggers that aren't theirs?
Yes. And I also try to teach them grounding techniques and ways to cleanse their energy.
Mhm.
Because I tell them, you will pick up, as you know, other anybody around you, as far
Mhm.
as like you can be your clients. Their energies can stay with you, of course, and then just people in their daily lives being an empath. So
Right.
I do speak on that with them as well. Um, mhm.
And that is highly important
Oh,
because
yes.
a lot of that is um, working with their emotions and their sense of concentration and the sense of being able to sort out what is mine and what is not mine.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah. And, with the availability of the networks, they can get you instantly, especially if they're having a lot of thought process problems,
Mhm.
and, emotional problems there. Um, and then the other side of that is dealing with trying to, work their way through what they've took in, basically, like picked up and took in, that
Mhm.
isn't even theirs.
Oh, yes. It's definitely, I agree. It's one of the most important things that we all can do. Mhm.
And let's see what else you've got from. Sorry, I'm sitting here going through like the notes and your profiles and looking
Right.
at things because you do a lot. You work with empaths, you do a lot of the shadow work, you work with the fairies, you got some fairy work going on here, love and
Mhm.
relationship work going on.
Yes.
What's your favorite?
Oh, um, well, I love the fairies. Of course, the fairy energy. But as far as for my favorite, I would say shadow work because I believe in it and I know how it can change your life. So I would definitely say when I'm helping someone in that way to face those inner demons, it gives me a lot of purpose, I feel, in my work. And,
Mhm.
I feel that that is definitely my favorite.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, we'll talk about, how clients can get ready for readings for you. Because I always like my clients pre-prepped.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey, and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
Hey, welcome back. So, how do you like your clients? Do you like them ready with questions? And what do you need to start a reading?
Well, for me, I just ask my clients, or how to prepare is try to come into the session relaxed, if you can. But we all know that sometimes we may, receive clients that have been through something hard and, challenging. So I would say try and take a moment, just take some time for yourself before the reading to kind of calm your mind.
Mm-hmm.
As far as for in the reading, I just recommend you talking to your advisor like they're your friend, because oftentimes if you just talk to us like that, I found that it's easier for you to open up, and your advisors are there to help you. So I definitely feel like you'll trust is important, which is something that as everyone continues to meet with their special advisor, that trust will grow. So yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you don't read?
Um, I read anything that is within the terms of service. So I don't read on pregnancy,
Right.
medical, things like that.
Right.
But as far as like anything off limits for me as, ethics wise, I mean, I read on third parties.
Mhm.
I do read on third parties if the person is involved in the situation, of course.
Right. Can
Mhm.
we dig into that a moment? Because this is something that, as an old psychic, it just boggles my mind. I won't read on your boyfriend. What do you mean you won't read on my boyfriend? He's involved in the situation. You're sitting there watching the same information. How do you know he's cheating if you won't read for him?
Mhm.
What's your perspective from it?
Well, me as a person, not just a reader, I'm very open-minded.
Mhm.
I try and be open as much as I can. But I do have boundaries. If I feel like the situation is something I'm not feeling the best energy, I
Mhm.
will not read on it, respectfully. So I
Right.
just try to use my judgment in the moment is really what I would say on that.
Right, but why do you
Mhm.
think some readers choose not to read third party? Because that's they. It's not that it's not possible. Like I hate when people say, "Well, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
possible." Everything is possible, including levitation.
Mhm.
So why do you think readers make that choice?
Some readers may not want to read on it because they feel like it could be invading their privacy or crossing boundaries where they didn't give the permission, but
Hmm.
I can see like some readers, every reader has their different, moral code or
Course,
ethics.
moral codes. Yes, we have to
So,
create them
mhm,
ourselves.
mhm,
Um, because we don't have a governing body that says we have the networks that say you can't read pregnancy, you can't read legal.
mhm.
You're not a doctor. Like, no, thank you. I don't want to go and do psychic surgery. It gets bloody and
Yes.
it clothes are I
Yes.
spend too much on fashion.
Mhm.
Um, so we have those grounds, but when it comes to it, every reader has a different style. That's why I love this show, because I get to sit down and talk with different readers and get what
Mhm.
makes them tick. Um, but this don't read on third party. I've never gotten that one. I also never got the sitting in judgment in a reading. Now, this is
Oh,
something you don't do. I don't do.
mhm.
You want to go into that one?
Yes, and to clarify, do you mean like judgment from the readers, would you say, or
Yes.
oh, okay. Yes, I do. Some readers they've also been through a lot, and I feel like they make decisions based on some of their own personal experiences, which is okay. The things that they will or will not want to talk about.
Right.
That's their boundaries. But as far as you know I look at it as my client is coming to me because they feel like they can trust me. And
Hmm.
I feel like I can make that decision, in the moment. If it's something, of course, I want to read on. But a lot of times I'm just very open minded. I really am.
Right. And so am I. But like, oh, I'm dating a married man for 20 years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't read on you. Click. You don't do that.
Oh no, life happens, trust me. You know,
Yeah.
if anyone's trying to talk to me, please open up. I want you to open up
Hmm.
because to be able to help you, I need to understand, so the context. So
Right.
I fully, I fully want my clients to trust me.
Right. And that's also an important thing is when you come into a reading, especially with you know Destiny or me, you'll want to come in willing to listen to the messages. Like that's something
Mhm.
very prominent. We don't always get to give you the happy, good, joy news that Prince, the Knight of Cups is going to come walking in and just rock your world and change everything, and who's going to become the emperor. But we're going to walk you into that deeper understanding of why you keep getting, the Five of Cups dude that looks like he can't roll out of bed, much less, make you happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so you like them to come open-minded? Do you like them to sit down and prepare their questions? Or do you like to go with the flow of things?
Honestly, a lot of my clients that have been with me for a long time,
Hmm.
they just come in. I ask them how they're doing, and they ask me how I'm doing, and then we just kind of go into it.
Hmm.
It's usually just very natural, conversationally. Um, and yeah, I mean, you can have your questions, if you can think of them. But one of my things I try to do is I feel out the situation, and if I feel like you want me to kind of, lead it, I can lead us.
Hmm. Um, do you like to do general?
I mean, I like a topic, like,
Okay.
like for example, they could say, what blessings will I have this year? As long as it's like love, I need that topic. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then I can kind of go from there. As far
Right.
as what I need for a reading, I just realized I didn't answer that earlier. Um, I just need their first name, and I like to have their zodiac sign and then context. That's all. Is this a love reading? Are you wanting to know if they're going to hire you? That's
Right.
all I ask. Hmm.
Yeah. So you like love, you do shadow work. Do you do financial readings and like questions and
Yes, I do. I do financial questions. I'm not that big on. There's one question I'm not that big on, but I
go
will
for
answer.
it? Yeah.
Uh, it is, will I get this job or not? Because so much can change from the moment when we're on this certain path, but so much can change before they fully make that decision. So I'm not a fan of that particular question, but I do enjoy career
Right.
reads. Hmm.
Right. And especially nowadays, like I don't know, from a clairvoyant perspective,
Hmm.
it takes me a lot of work to sit there and figure out, okay, which office am I in? Because they all look the same anymore.
Yes.
They
Exactly.
all like apparently the cube farms have been created. They are blue. That is a nightmare, and they are
Hmm.
all the same throughout the world.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So there's that. What about timing?
Um, I do timing, but honestly, for me as a reader, I try not to focus on timing as much. I know
Hmm.
everybody wants to know timing, right? But for me, I see it as many different pathways.
Hmm.
And that's how I kind of approach my readings too. It's a
Right.
pathway. Um, but for timing, exact timing, I don't offer exact timing. I can do it,
Right.
but I found the more I give exact timing, what will happen is my client will maybe kind of start focusing on it too much and get into that kind of, we've all had it happen, right?
Right.
But get in that, kind of maybe a little obsessing a little too much, and that can create blockages, I feel,
Right.
and slow the energy down. As it's pretty much just the opposite for manifesting. So I try and, if I start feeling that we're heading in that territory, I
Mhm.
will kind of,
Like,
shy off of giving that again.
yeah, and say, look, you've got to let this play out, that
Yeah.
type of thing. And that's important, because timing in the spiritual world is very different.
Mm-hmm.
It's event by event. It's
Yes.
not like, okay, it's been 2 days now. No, you went to bed, you got up, you went to work, you picked up your cell phone, you texted him again for the 15th time and he's not
Yes.
answered. That type of situation. It's like, no, you got to back it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you work with past lives?
I do past life readings. I will get messages from spirit about past lives.
Uh-huh.
But would I say I'm a past life reader? I do it when it's asked, and I do enjoy it too, but I haven't, as far as, I wouldn't necessarily call me, well, I guess I kind of am, because I
Yeah.
sorry, I'm talking it through in my mind as
Yeah.
we're
Well, it's because things get changed around. Here's a good one, guys. 20 years, life questions. It's now life path.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so, this is the life question, it's the life path reading, and it's like, and it's the same thing, guys. It's the same. I had customers coming into me, I can't find your past, your life questions reading. Look at life path. It's the same thing now. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just marketing terms. So, past life reading, soulmate reader,
Mm-hmm.
those are what I would call the same things, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, when I'm doing past life readings, I just really try and just go with what I'm, as you know, what I'm being shown. I
Mhm.
will draw tarot as well. I actually do use tarot with the past life readings too.
Mhm.
Um, but honestly, I'll start getting like images, and I'll start feeling like a time, like 1800s, for example.
Right.
I'll just start getting some messages, and then I try and expand on it with my tarot, or even sometimes oracle. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. And it isn't that locked in. Pulling out like, okay, you were at 1432 Jefferson Road, Richmond, Virginia, 1842. It's from what I've seen of your work, it's more so, what did you learn in that life? What did you bring into this
Mm-hmm.
life with
Yes.
you that's going to affect that type of thing?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I would definitely say, what patterns came from that, with
Right.
our fear-based thoughts. So yes, I would agree. Mhm.
Have you ran into cell memory yet?
Cell memory?
Yeah. It's where literally the person continues to have the same thing occur physically, one life to another, to another, to
Oh,
another, to where it occurs. It's like they turn 38 and suddenly they're afraid of bridges, they're afraid of driving, and they don't know what it is.
I mean, I've heard of, I know what you're saying, but as far as
Uh-huh.
like talking about it necessarily with clients, I feel like I haven't explored it as much, as I would
Yeah,
like to.
you'll love that one because it messes with me every time. I'm like, okay, what is this? Why are I'm seeing this? And sorry guys, the dogs go in and out of the office. You guys know that. But no, it's really fun to start poking around in that area and seeing, exactly, why did you go to China for 200 years and then get tired of it, or why did you go do this, and the developmental processes of the soul, which I'm sure your readings delve into.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, go ahead.
So tell me about this soulmate thing because they keep publishing soulmate, twin flame, and life partners, the new one.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like my friend works very well.
Yes. For me, what I personally feel, I feel that we have many soulmates, and those soulmates can be, friends, lovers, of course, um, family. I feel like we have a soul family, and we do have many soulmates in a lifetime. And as far as for like twin flame, um, I do believe in spiritual partnerships. I do
Right.
believe in it. Now, does that mean you're meant to be together in this lifetime? No, not necessarily.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but I do believe in spiritual connections. I've gone more away from the word twin flame personally, I have,
Right.
and kind of turn it more towards sacred spiritual partnerships. That's what I like to
I
call
would like that term better. It sounds better because
it.
I'm like, no, there's no like burning the house down or anything. And
Yes.
people get really confused about the soulmate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. It's because yes, originally, you'd have one partner and you would have one life after another. Well, guess what? Partners got stubborn. They're like, no, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
Why do you want to go down there right now? Do you not see the insanity going on down there? There's a black plague. We ain't doing that one, no. So fine, you choose a different one. And then you get to this lifetime when you have, I don't know, 20, 30, 15, 5 lives. I haven't seen any new souls in a very long time, if you can't tell.
Mhm.
And it's like, now you got a little collection going on. It's like, okay, you get that one in your 20s, and you pick this one up, and you'll meet him about your 40s, and around
Yeah.
80s, you'll get rid of both of them and pick up this one.
Yep.
Because, spirit, practices what I call the Boy Scout mentality. They pack everything.
Mm-hmm.
Kitchen sink, extra lovers, extra wives, extra
Yeah.
mothers, all of it, just to make sure that you can get through this um, creative space of learning and advancing the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. All right,
Exactly.
guys, let's take another break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some fairy connections I see popping around in your stuff.
Okay. Sounds good.
Live tarot and psychic readings. Get 3 free minutes on your first session. Find answers and peace of mind anywhere, anytime. Install Zodiac Psychic now and find your spiritual advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey, and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
Welcome back. So, do you work with pets?
Yes, I love working with pets that have passed on. Of course, pets as far as living, I do readings on those as well, but I prefer more in person for that.
Ah, very cool. Very cool. So, when do you normally work?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
What are you normally on? What's your hours?
Oh, sure. You can find me online every day from 12 to 5:30, 6-ish. And then I work later in the night from around 8 to sometimes midnight. So I try and schedule it where I kind of, can get everybody as much as I can.
Right. And I recently moved over to midnight shows. Like I work a straight 11 to 7. I'm in and out. You
Mhm.
know, And that's because a lot of my clients are up late, stressed out, worried, or international, and it's just their morning or their afternoon, and it's like, oh, this will work much better. And my clients were the ones that, and I started out that way. So overall, what has been your funnest reading yet? The one that you just ate up?
Well, I have a few clients that have like a little special place in my heart because my clients are amazing, first of all, and then second of all, I have some elderly clients, and I love doing their readings because sometimes there's a lot going on, especially with. I found there's a lot of complicated situations as well.
It's not
And
as simple as it used to be.
yes, I feel like it's just there's a lot of sweet energy I feel
Hmm.
from this particular client that I help, and it's towards the person they love, and it's just so sweet getting to see work with them, and I wouldn't I'm sorry, I'm having trouble finding the words of what I'm
You're
trying to
doing
say on
just fine, honey.
it's just beautiful energy, and I just I feel like every time I connect with certain clients, they bring this light back to me too. It just brings me back alive, basically. That's what I'm
Very
trying to
true.
say.
Yeah, and it does. It re-energizes us when we see things working out for our clients.
Mhm.
Um, how do you like your mediumship? Is it like, do you just give the information that you get? Do you need to know the situation?
For mediumship, what I usually do is I'll ask their first name, and then their birth date. I will ask, how are they connected to them?
Hmm.
And then pretty much from there, that's where I work from, with sometimes I'll write it down, automatic writing, things like that. But also it's like a mixture of, I'll say what I feel and what I see in my mind, and I will also do those talking to heaven
Hmm.
cards as
Cards,
well.
and those help you tune in really well there. And then you work the angels. So you got a lot going on for the readings and the reading styles. What's your favorite? What's your down and dirty? If a client calls you in total panic, what are you going to go with first?
As far as the technique to
Yeah.
clarify, most of the time, I love comforting people that are upset. I know it sounds weird to actually say it, but I love when people come to me in that crisis mode, and I found with my just who I am as a person,
Hmm.
my empathic abilities as well. I'm able to relate to them and really feel, what they're feeling. So I would say helping people that are upset, upset
Yeah.
in the moment it's one of my strengths, I would say. And it makes me feel better when they feel better. So,
Right.
mhm.
Right. All right, darling. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great catching up with you. I know you're getting ready to come into your season there in Florida with the sun and it's starting to heat back up. Stay safe for the hurricanes this year because if the winter's any indication, I just keep a bag packed.
Yeah.
And guys, we will see you guys next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Much. Bye.